Hi, I'm Rebekah Valentine, and I am here with Jeff Gardiner to talk about his new studio, Something Wicked, and his new game, Wyrdsong. Jeff, how's it going?
It's going great. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be here today.
Thank you for being here. So let's just get a baseline idea of what we just saw. Jeff, what is Wyrdsong?
Wyrdsong is a preternatural or occult historical fantasy game set in Middle Ages Portugal, where the player not only will be able to explore that reality of that time period in a very, very fantastical way, but also to explore the nature of their reality. We really wanted this game to be about the idea that there's no such thing as a reliable narrator. Your brain is not a passive receptor of information. We're going to plumb the depths of the player's subconscious and how that affects the waking world.
Wow, that's a lot. That sounds really cool. So, Middle Ages Portugal, what was going on in Middle Ages Portugal that you were really interested to explore?
So after I got part of Bethesda about a year ago, I took some time to reflect, and I was reading a book called First Templar Nation, which is an alternative history book about the origin of the Knights Templar. I'm very into both. I like to read all sorts of different things from different points of view. And as I was reading this book, it was a lot of synchronicity was happening because I had visited Portugal right before COVID with my wife, and we had happened to visit some of the historical locations featured heavily in this book, Tamar Castle in particular, and Sintra also. And as this idea was coming together of really what the Templars were about, again, in a mythological sense, they had this thing called the ritual rebirth. And so you're just like, what can we explore in this space that also would make a compelling and ultimately an amazingly entertaining RPG?
Wow. So who are you in Wyrdsong? Are you just sort of a bystander? What kind of person are you?
This is interesting because we are setting the studio up to allow people to come in and sort of give us their great ideas. So we really haven't defined the story yet or what the player is going to be. You're definitely going to be able to play any race or gender you want, and you're going to be able to sort of, set your course as you dictate and play who you want to play. Again, very fantastical version of the Templars in Portugal in particular. And we want to attract talent that's going to come in and help us create this. So we don't want to define too many things and make it too rigid and let people give us their great ideas as we're building the story.
But that's really cool. So I know a lot of people, when they start to make a game, they often have a story in mind already, but it sounds like you don't have a story. You have just the sort of place and these ideas you want to explore, and you're going to let the story flow from that. Is that right?
Yeah, settings and themes are important in Wyrdsong, and we don't want to, again, I sort of want to set high level goals, what the gist of things are going to be, and let people, plus in RPGs, there's so many stories being told. There's the main story and all these side stories. I want people to come in and really dictate what they find interesting and compelling, explore different versions of this narrative and this world, and see sort of what makes a compelling game.
Oh, that's really cool. So even though we don't have a story set out yet, you probably have at least some idea right now of what the player might be doing. You said it's an RPG, so I assume there's going to be some kind of combat, and you said something kind of along the lines of side quests. So we're going to see RPG-ish trappings, right?
Oh, absolutely. I've been playing RPGs for years. Obviously, I was blessed to be able to create some. Hopefully, some people here watching this have played. And remember, this is a coming together of my design director, Charles Staples, comes from Obsidian. He was there for 15 years. I was at Bethesda for 15 years. Charles was in charge of the design for the Outer Worlds. He was a lead level designer on Fallout New Vegas. So this is a coming together of these two great RPG houses to make something unique and cool, and we're doing so with Wyrdsong.
Yeah, and you haven't just played RPGs for a really long time. You've worked on some of the arguably best RPGs out there, right? You worked on Skyrim, you worked on multiple Fallout games. What of their DNA should we expect to see in Wyrdsong?
I learned so much at my time at Bethesda, and it's funny because I have been working there since. I mean, the last game I was able to play as a fan there was more, right? Which dates me a little bit. But, you will see, there's obvious things to say, choice and consequence, but we'll bring in the Obsidian, shades of gray and deep and in-depth dialogue trees. And then we're going to bring in we really want to have big, monumental, these elements that you can only do in single player games where you are really affecting the world around you and maybe other worlds as well.
That's really cool. Well, I think we're running out of time. So, Jeff, do you know when we might expect to see a little bit more from Wyrdsong?
we plan on engaging the community really soon and getting their opinions and ideas. Again, like if anything, I'm over there, games are a collaborative experience, and not only do you want to bring in people that you're able to collaborate with in amazing, unique ways, but you want to involve fans as well to get their ideas and opinions. And there's a lot of fans of RPGs, and they have a lot of opinions, which is awesome. And so hopefully we will reveal more in the coming year, at least some teasing, some teases of actual gameplay. But we're really excited to be working on this, and I really appreciate the opportunity today. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'm really excited to see more. Jeff, thank you so much for your time. And for more on Wyrdsong and a lot of the other games that we've seen this week, keep it here at IGN.
There exists 2 lies. One before the shadow, and one behind the eye.